Alright everyone, welcome back to Modduis Reads. This story is by me and my friend Spideyview. Kamen Rider Rush, Chapter 1, Spinning Wheels. It was a nice day in the city. There were hardly any crimes, but that didn't mean an officer got to be off duty. Detective Kirsten sat at her desk, sorting through paperwork, groaning. She took a sip of her coffee. Paperwork, paperwork, more paperwork, always paperwork. When am I gonna get a real case? She said aloud. It had been months since she had been called out to the streets. She was starting to become the stereotype of a fat, donut-eating cop. Well, everyone insisted she wasn't fat, but she noticed a bit of flap on her belly. That was when she noticed a little car on her desk. She sighed and picked it up, smiling. Hey, Turbo, how are you? The shift car beeped as if saying something. She chuckled. Where's Rush? The Rush car flew in and landed in her other hand. She smiled. Hey, Rush, you as bored as I am, girl? Rush seemed to nod. Kirsten giggled and put the finishing touches on the paperwork. Let's go for a drive, guys. After she finished the paperwork, she got on her motorcycle and rode off, probably going over the speed limit, but most of the patrol cops recognized and sympathized with the pink blur that was Kirsten on a bad day. Suddenly, everything slowed down and Kirsten smiled. About bloody time, she said, turning to the source of the slowdown. She arrived and saw the roid mood causing trouble. Finally, some action, she said before putting the Rush car into her mock driver. Signal bike, rider, Rush, it said before she transformed into Kamen Rider Rush. Her white and pink uniform surrounding her. The unevolved roid mood looked at her and backed away slowly, but she charged forward and punched him across the jaw. Searching, destroying, all done at high speeds, she started. Kamen Rider, she said before swinging her arm around and getting into a pose. Rush! She smiled and kept showboating, kicking the roid mood around like a rag doll. She opened her mock driver and punched it closed multiple times. Rush! The mock driver shouted as she moved around at high speeds, punching and kicking the roid mood. Soon fell to the ground and exploding, its number 223 flying into the air and exploding as well. She opened her mock driver and took out the Rush car, detransforming. She sighed. That didn't last long. Oh well, back to my ride. She went back to her motorcycle and got on, speeding back to her office to file a report about how the Kamen Rider destroyed another roid mood. Elsewhere, in an abandoned warehouse, 3 roid moods sat down, the female looking very angry. How has she destroyed yet another roid mood? The female named Gray yelled. I don't know. The Kamen Rider must be very tough, one of the males named Black said. Hey, you're the smart one, Miss Gray Matter. Why don't you find out? The third one snarked, as of yet an unnamed male. You're gonna do the Kamen Rider's job for her if you keep arguing like this, said a fourth voice. A figure stood in the shadows, scowling. We are sorry, sir. This is not the first impression we are hoping to make on you, sir. We'll send one of the already evolved roid mood into the city, Gray said, bowing. Good, but don't destroy her yet. I've got a plan in mind, the mysterious figure said. Yes, sir, she said, switching to her evolved form. Growing a few feet taller and becoming like a cloaked woman, she went to find one of the roid moods to do the job. The figure in the shadows seemed to smirk. I'd keep an eye on her if I were you two. She says and seemed to enjoy sharing the spotlight. Yes, sir, the two shouted. A little later, Kirsten finished the report and went back to her apartment, plopping down on the bed. Groaning, she checked her phone for anything happening on social media. She saw some posts of Kamen Rider Rush, but there was something that caught her eye. Something about Kamen Rider Witch. Another Kamen Rider? She asked aloud. It was a few cities away from her, but many pictures were flying around social media, and Kirsten had to admire the woman. The outfit looked good on her, at least. She put her phone down and stretched. She decided to sleep in her clothes and promptly crashed. The next day, Kirsten was riding on her motorcycle when she got a call on her police radio. Detective Kirsten, please respond. We've got a crime scene we need you to come look at. On my way, she said before driving there. A small house was taped up and surrounded by police cars and special crimes units. She got off her motorcycle a cycle and went up to the door. So what happened? She asked. I think it's better that you see it, the officer said, waving her into the house where a barely breathing old woman lay on the couch. She went inside and saw the state of the house, a single window broken and everything searched through. The officer went to the old woman. Her name is Niona. She was 23 when she went to bed last night, he told Garrison. Wait, 23? The lady looks over 80. Exactly. And another thing, according to her neighbors, she never removed her necklace. The necklace has been stolen. Kirsten looked at the lady's neck, finding marks on the back as if something was forcefully removed. All valuables were stolen, but somehow the culprit aged her well beyond her years. The Special Crimes Division is finding traces of slowdown. All right, sounds like a roid mood. The woman needs medical attention. I'll track down the culprit, she said, walking out of the house. She went to her favorite donut shop and got her usual, before going around town looking for roid mood activity. She whistled as she walked around, getting an idea, and going to the library to look up people with valuable items but poor housing conditions. Finding a young man that fits the bill perfectly, she stakes out his house. She waits well into the night, starting to doze off until she hears the sound of a window breaking. Bingo! She said, running into the house. A black cat monster stood over the sleeping man, grabbing at his watch. Shh, she said quietly, drawing Roid Mood's attention. He's sleeping, she said with a smirk. The cat hissed, ripping his watch off of him, forcing him into a very old age before tackling Kirsten to the ground. Hey, I know I'm attractive, but the date's not over yet, Kirsten quipped before kicking the cat off. She hissed, putting the item in a black bag before charging Kirsten again. Kirsten kicked her back and got the rush car, putting it into her Mac driver. Signal bike, it said. Henshin, she shouted, closing it. Rider, rush! She transformed and forced the cat out of the small house. She charged at the Roid Mood and kicked it over and over. The cat growled and clawed her arm. Ooh, kitty's got claws, she quipped and stopped a punch from the cat. Yeah, I know, cliché and obvious. But hey, you gave me the opportunity. She punched the Roid Mood in the face, making it stagger back. The cat used its tail to grab her leg and knocked her on her back. This kitty also has teeth, the cat yelled, grabbing Rush. A shift car flew in and knocked the Roid Mood away, knocking her all the way onto her back. Woo! Thanks, Turbo. I owe you one. The little blue car honked and she put it into her gun. She spun the wheel in her gun a few times and it glowed blue before she aimed the blaster at the Roid Mood. Turbo! Shot! 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 The gun shouted, blasting the cat farther back. The machine cane, her motorcycle, arrived and blasted at the cat. She pulled her swords off of the bike and jumped, and used it as a platform to jump off of it, slashing the monster through and through. She stabbed the monster a few more times before pulling the swords out of the cat and slashing. The monster fell back screaming and exploded, the number 221 appearing above it and exploding as well. Alright, that was some good exercise. This case was boring, though. Good fight, Kirsten said, detransforming and stretching. The next day, the valuables were returned, and the woman and the man were back to their rightful age. Kirsten was left with all the paperwork again. She sighed, straightened her back, and got to work. Author's note. Hey, everybody! Welcome to my profile! Spidey Viewer is in Drive suit while sitting on a throne with the Drive logo. Hey everyone, this is the other fanfic that's in our Kamen Rider series. Terius, this is Kamen Rider Rush, and later down the line we will have better mysteries and better action. But this was fun, and there is a hint to one of the ships in this chapter if you pay attention. I am Drive Spidey. I am so excited to work on this. I am a huge fan of Kamen Rider Drive, loved the characters, loved the twists, loved the humor, loved everything. Check it out when you can. Same. Check it out. And check out Kamen Rider Witch on Spidey's profile. Drive Spidey. I am 13 to 16 episodes into Kamen Rider Wizard, and so far I love it. Check it out sometime, and remember, all we need is drive. Darius, high five Spidey. Good night, everybody!